The stars were quiet that night. The galaxy seemed calm, but deep in the outer rim, something unusual stirred. Human scientists on the observation station, Horizon Point, noticed faint signals. At first, they thought it was a malfunction. Sensors flickered, alarms whispered, but the readings were real. A fleet of alien ships, crippled and drifting, was approaching the edge of known space. No human had ever seen anything like it. The ships were large, covered with strange glowing markings, their shapes sharp and alien. Most of them were damaged. Fires burned through the hulls, and weak life signals blinked sporadically. From the reports, it was clear, the alien fleet was dying. Messages went out immediately to the United Galactic Council. Representatives from advanced species met in emergency sessions. Some argued strongly to leave the aliens. "It is not our concern," one diplomat said. "They are weak, and we cannot risk contamination or attack. Let them perish." Another added, "Why waste resources on a species that cannot defend itself?" Their words were cold, precise, without compassion. Humans listened quietly. On Earth, the president held a meeting with the top advisors and scientists. The room was tense. Humanity had always valued life, even when it was risky. There was no hesitation in their decision. They would act. They would help. A small fleet of human ships prepared for departure. Engineers worked tirelessly to ensure every rescue pod and medical unit was ready. Soldiers and scientists boarded together, trained to face unknown dangers. Everyone felt the weight of responsibility. They were not just traveling to save lives, they were carrying humanity's values across the stars. As the human fleet left the safety of their controlled space, the galaxy seemed to grow darker. The farther they traveled, the more silent the void became. There were no messages from other species, only the distant hum of stars. Horizon Point transmitted continuous updates, but each report brought more questions than answers. The alien ships were not just damaged, they were strangely quiet, almost lifeless. No communications, no movements, only the flickering lights of failing technology. Finally, the humans arrived. The first sight of the alien fleet was terrifying. Some ships were broken in half, others floated like dead fish. Smoke and fire poured into the vacuum of space. Strange energy waves pulsed irregularly, and every pulse seemed to carry a warning. Humans had faced many dangers in history, but nothing like this. The lead human ship, the Aegis, approached carefully. Docking was impossible with the damaged hulls. Instead, rescue shuttles were sent in pairs. The pilots navigated through twisted metal and burning debris, holding their breath. Inside the largest alien ship, life signs appeared on the scanners. Weak, faint, but real. The first aliens seen were terrifying. Their bodies were unlike anything humans had imagined. Limbs twisted in unusual ways, skin covered with glowing patterns, eyes reflecting fear and confusion. They moved slowly, injured, some unable to walk. Humans extended medical supplies, food, and water. Some aliens recoiled, unsure whether to accept help or attack. Communication was nearly impossible, sounds and signals strange and harsh. Dr. Elena Harris, the lead scientist, stepped forward. She activated a universal translator prototype, hoping it could interpret the alien signals. The machine beeped and hummed, struggling to decode the language. Slowly, fragments appeared. Words, simple and broken, carried fear and gratitude. The aliens were lost, hungry, and in pain. Humanity's decision became clearer. They could not leave these lives to die. But danger was not gone. As humans helped, strange signals began to pulse from the alien fleet. Not messages, something else. The energy was uneven, unpredictable, almost alive. The sensors detected movement within ships that were supposed to be empty. Every human on board felt it. Something watched them, something unknown. The calm void of space had shifted into a tense, electric silence. Despite fear, humans worked. Rescue teams carried aliens to the medical ships. Doctors treated burns and broken limbs. Engineers repaired what they could, patching life support and stabilizing power systems. Every small success brought relief, but each success also raised more questions. Why were these ships drifting alone? Why was their technology so advanced, yet failing? Night fell on Earth, But the human fleet had no time for rest. On the bridge of the Aegis, Captain Marcus Lee stared at the monitors. He knew they had only begun to understand what they faced. Other civilizations had turned away, leaving the aliens to perish. Humanity had chosen differently. They had chosen risk. They had chosen courage. As the last rescue shuttle returned, a sudden pulse of energy erupted from one of the alien ships. Alarms screamed, lights flickered, and the entire fleet shivered. Humans braced themselves. Whatever was coming, it was not expected. The void of space seemed to hold its breath. Humanity was about to discover that helping these aliens might be more dangerous than they had imagined. But there was no turning back. The choice had been made. Humanity had reached out, and now, in the endless dark, their actions would echo across the galaxy. The human fleet hovered around the alien ships. The damage was worse than they expected. Fires smoldered, hulls twisted, and strange lights flickered in patterns that no human technology had seen before. The rescue teams had stabilized the aliens, but understanding them was another challenge entirely. Dr. Elena Harris worked tirelessly with her team, trying to decode the alien language. The universal translator gave fragments, broken words that hinted at fear and confusion. The aliens had not seen humans before, and some regarded them with suspicion. Others simply stared, too weak to move, their glowing eyes reflecting pain and wonder. Captain Marcus Lee watched from the bridge of the Aegis. Every movement of the alien fleet felt unpredictable. One moment, a ship's door would open, revealing a wounded alien, and the next, sensors would detect sudden energy surges within empty hulls. Something was alive inside these ships, something humans did not understand. The first real contact happened when a small group of aliens approached the rescue team. They moved carefully, as if testing the humans. Dr. Harris stepped forward, extending her hand. The aliens paused, their bodies trembling, patterns on their skin shifting. The translator hummed and finally produced a word that made humans stop in surprise: help. For the first time, humans felt the fragile connection. They could communicate, even if just a little. The aliens were starving, their technology failing, and their morale low. Yet beneath the fear, there was intelligence, a spark that reminded humans they were dealing with a race far older than themselves. But trust would not come easily. Some aliens retreated at the first gesture of kindness, while others watched every human action with sharp attention. One of the ships suddenly emitted a loud sound, a high-pitched scream that shook the rescue shuttles. The humans froze, unsure if it was a warning or a cry of pain. Dr. Harris studied the patterns. The aliens had a way of communicating that was not just words, it was energy, pulses, signals humans could feel as vibrations. As the humans worked, they discovered the aliens' technology was both advanced and dangerous. Power cores flickered, releasing bursts of energy that could destroy entire decks. The rescue teams had to be careful. One wrong step could mean death for humans and aliens alike. Every repair, every step, required courage and precision. In the midst of this, tension grew among the alien survivors. Some of them whispered among themselves, using the pulses and gestures humans could not fully understand. The translators provided hints, warnings, questions, and in some cases, anger. There was a hidden history, a reason for their suffering, but it remained a mystery. Captain Lee knew that the greatest danger was not the damaged ships or energy surges, it was the uncertainty. Humanity had chosen to help, but they were stepping into a story they did not fully know. Every action could be seen as kindness or threat, every gesture misinterpreted. One mistake, and the fragile trust they had built could shatter. Despite the danger, humans pressed on. Rescue shuttles carried supplies and stabilizing equipment to the alien ships. Engineers patched life support and repaired broken systems. Medical teams treated wounds, and slowly, some aliens began to respond with cautious movements. For the first time, humans saw a faint smile from one of the survivors, a small sign that hope still existed. But hope was fragile. One night, as humans rested aboard the Aegis, sensors detected an unusual energy pattern in the fleet. The readings were unlike anything humans had seen before. It was not random, it was deliberate, calculated, intelligent. Dr. Harris and her team studied it, but the patterns were complex, almost like a warning or a message. "Captain," she said, her voice tense, "they are trying to communicate something, but it is not words. It is energy, and it is powerful. We need to be careful. Marcus nodded. Keep watching. We don't know what it means yet, but stay ready. We are here to help, but we can't underestimate them. The humans realized that saving the aliens was not just about medicine or repairs, it was about understanding them. Every small act of kindness mattered, but so did observation and caution. The aliens were not helpless, they were intelligent, possibly more advanced than humans imagined. By the time the sun rose on Earth, the human fleet had formed a fragile bond with the alien survivors. Some aliens responded to the humans' efforts, others remained distant, their eyes filled with suspicion. The universe felt larger, stranger, and more dangerous than ever before. Yet humanity had made a choice. They could have left the aliens to perish, as other civilizations would have done. Instead, they acted with courage, empathy, and intelligence. The first contact was not perfect, but it was a start. And for the humans aboard the Aegis, the lesson was clear. Survival in the galaxy was not just about strength, it was about connection, understanding, and the willingness to face the unknown. But even as hope flickered, the humans felt it, a pulse of energy stronger than before, coming from the heart of the alien fleet. It was deliberate, and it was watching them. Something ancient, something dangerous, and something that could change everything was waiting. Humanity had stepped into a story far larger than they had imagined, and the next steps would test their courage like never before. The alien fleet had stabilized, but the danger was far from over. Humans and aliens shared space now, yet tension lingered in every corridor of the ships. The survivors were grateful but cautious, while some still watched the humans with suspicion. Humanity had acted out of compassion, but the universe did not reward kindness easily. Captain Marcus Lee called a meeting aboard the Aegis. Scientists, engineers, and military leaders gathered, debating the next steps. Some argued that continuing the rescue was too dangerous. "We don't know what they are capable of," one officer warned. "These aliens are weak now, yes, but they are still a mysterious species. What if we've invited a threat into our fleet?" Dr. Elena Harris disagreed. "We cannot abandon them now," she said firmly. "We reached them when no one else would. If we leave, they will die. Humanity is not measured by fear, but by courage and compassion. We must continue." The council debated for hours, weighing risks against morality. Other civilizations were already judging humanity. Messages arrived, cold and disapproving. "Leave them," one ambassador said. "Your interference will cost lives. Other species know better than to waste resources on those who cannot survive." But humans were not like other species. They had chosen to act differently. Every human on board remembered the alien eyes, the silent pleas for help, the fragile trust forming with every gesture. The council finally reached a decision. They would continue the mission, no matter the danger. The choice was not without consequences. Engineers worked day and night to strengthen human ships and stabilize alien vessels. Soldiers prepared for emergencies. Scientists studied alien technology, trying to understand how it worked and how to prevent it from causing harm. Every action was a calculated risk, a step into the unknown. The aliens themselves watched closely. Some seemed grateful, their glowing patterns shifting in ways humans had begun to understand as smiles or nods. Others whispered among themselves, sending pulses of energy too complex for translators to fully decode. Humans sensed caution and mistrust. Not all aliens were ready to accept help, and some might be hiding intentions humans could not yet see. One morning, Dr. Harris noticed a subtle change in the aliens' behavior. They were beginning to communicate more, sending longer and more complex energy pulses. The translator worked harder, piecing together phrases that suggested fear, but also hope. "We own nothing, yet we need help," one fragment read. Humans realized that the aliens were intelligent, proud, and aware of their vulnerability. They were not merely survivors, they were a civilization facing extinction. Captain Lee knew that this was the moment to act. Humanity had to show that their choice was not a mistake. They organized joint teams of humans and aliens to repair ships and share knowledge. Small successes brought small bonds. When an alien childlike figure cautiously touched a human hand for the first time, it was a quiet miracle, a symbol that trust could grow even in the darkest places. But challenges were constant. Strange energy readings pulsed from the heart of the fleet. Damaged ships occasionally released bursts of uncontrolled power. Supplies were limited, and every decision carried weight. The humans had chosen to protect life, yet each day tested that choice with dangers that could destroy everything. A crisis arrived suddenly. One alien ship, barely stabilized, began to collapse. Power systems overloaded, and the ship emitted a dangerous wave of energy that could destroy nearby human vessels. Panic surged. Soldiers and engineers raced to contain the threat, while scientists tried to calm the failing systems. It was a moment of truth. The decision to continue helping had brought humans to the edge of disaster. Yet humanity's spirit held. With courage and quick thinking, engineers redirected power, soldiers stabilized the area, and scientists recalibrated the systems. The alien ship was saved, its crew trembling but alive. Humans had acted with intelligence and bravery, proving that compassion and strategy could work together. The aliens, observing, began to respond differently. Some approached with less fear, their energy patterns more relaxed. The trust between species grew, fragile but undeniable. Humans had chosen a path that others deemed foolish, yet every life saved strengthened the bond. Humanity's choice had consequences beyond survival. It showed that courage, empathy, and clever thinking could overcome fear and distrust. As night fell over the fleet, Captain Lee stood on the bridge, looking at the stars beyond. He knew more challenges awaited. There were secrets hidden in the alien technology, and perhaps factions among the survivors who might not forgive humanity for past actions. Yet one truth was clear: humans had chosen differently. They had reached out when others turned away. They had acted with courage when fear was easier. Dr. Harris joined him, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the repaired alien ships. "We made the right choice," she said quietly. "They might never fully trust us, but we saved them. That is humanity. That is who we are." Marcus nodded, knowing the journey was only beginning. The fleet would face dangers they could not yet imagine, but for now, they had made their stand. Humanity's choice had set the tone for the story ahead. In the vast darkness of space, a spark of hope had been lit, a hope that would shape the fate of two civilizations. And far away, hidden within the heart of the alien fleet, something watched. Not all were pleased by humanity's actions. Some whispered of revenge, of debts owed and promises broken. The next challenges would test not just courage, but wisdom. Humanity's choice had been made, and the universe was already responding. The humans thought they were making progress. The alien fleet was slowly stabilizing, and the survivors were beginning to trust them. For a while, it seemed the impossible was happening. Bridges were repaired, medical units functioning, and the faint hum of life returned to the damaged ships. Humanity had proven its courage and compassion. But peace in the galaxy is never simple. One morning, the fleet awoke to chaos. Alarms blared across human and alien ships. Power surges, explosions, and flashing warning lights filled every control room. The humans were attacked. Not by some unknown enemy, but by the very aliens they had rescued. Panic spread quickly. Captain Marcus Lee barked orders. "Defend yourselves. Protect the survivors." Soldiers rushed to deploy shields, medics scrambled to help the injured, and engineers raced to stabilize failing systems. The betrayal was sudden, violent, and shocking. The attackers were a faction of aliens who had secretly opposed cooperation with humans. They had waited, hidden their intentions, and now struck with precision. Some humans were trapped in damaged corridors. Others faced alien weapons they did not fully understand. Every decision could mean life or death. Dr. Elena Harris tried to reason with the attacking aliens. "Stop. We are helping you. We saved your people." But her words were ignored. The energy pulses from the attackers were hostile, almost like a roar. Their glowing patterns were twisted in anger and fear. Humans realized they had misjudged some of the survivors. Not all had wanted help. Some saw humanity's actions as an insult or a threat. Despite the betrayal, humanity did not falter. Captain Lee coordinated a counterresponse. Shield formations were adjusted, emergency evacuation routes opened, and medics moved quickly to the injured. Humans used strategy, intelligence, and teamwork rather than brute force. Every move was calculated, every action focused on saving lives. Meanwhile, not all aliens had joined the attack. Some, Those who had begun to trust humans secretly helped. They guided trapped humans through hidden passages, warned of ambushes, and transmitted vital information through the energy pulses. It was a dangerous gamble, but it gave humanity an edge. The battle was intense. Explosions rocked the ships, lights flickered, and fires burned across damaged decks. Humans dodged alien weapons, protected civilians, and attempted to contain fires before they could destroy entire ships. Every second counted. Dr. Harris discovered the reason behind the betrayal. The attacking faction believed that humans were interfering with the natural order of their civilization. They thought helping would make the aliens weak, dependent, and dishonored. In their eyes, humanity's choice had been an insult. Humans had acted with compassion, but some aliens interpreted it as a challenge to their pride. Captain Lee realized that force alone would not end the attack. He needed to combine courage with intelligence. Using the secret knowledge from friendly aliens, humans created diversions, stabilized damaged ships, and carefully outmaneuvered the hostile faction. Slowly, the tide began to turn. In one critical moment, a young alien, previously hidden among the friendly faction, guided a group of humans to the heart of the attacking fleet. There, they disrupted the hostile aliens' power systems, neutralizing their weapons without unnecessary destruction. The betrayal was being contained, but the cost was high. Human soldiers were injured, alien ships were damaged again, and trust was shattered. As the smoke cleared, the humans faced a new reality. The alien fleet was fractured. Some still opposed them, hiding in shadows and preparing for future strikes. Others had seen the value of cooperation and now followed human guidance. The betrayal had revealed a truth: not all aliens were alike. Some were intelligent, some cunning, some honorable, and some dangerous. Humanity's challenge was not just survival, it was judgment and diplomacy, understanding friends from foes. Captain Lee looked at the survivors, human and alien alike. "We are not defeated," he said. "We made mistakes, but we did not give up. We saved lives. We will continue. And we will prove that courage and intelligence can overcome even betrayal." Dr. Harris nodded, her face tired but determined. "They may have attacked, but not all of them hate us. There is hope. We can still build trust, and we can still make a difference." As night fell over the fleet, the damaged ships floated silently in the dark void of space. The hostile faction remained a hidden threat, but the seeds of alliance had been planted. Humanity had survived betrayal, proving that bravery, intelligence, and empathy could endure even the most dangerous challenges. Yet far beyond the repaired fleet, a pulse of energy spread across the galaxy. The attacking aliens were not the only ones watching. Something older, more powerful, and more dangerous sensed the humans' actions. The betrayal had consequences that no one could yet predict. Humanity had chosen a difficult path, and the universe was about to test them in ways they could not imagine. The fleet was battered but alive. The betrayal had left scars, human ships were damaged, some alien vessels destroyed, and trust was fragile. Yet humanity pressed forward. They had chosen to help, and there was no turning back. The next challenge was greater than any they had faced so far. Dr. Elena Harris studied the alien technology, searching for answers. Among the wreckage, she discovered something alarming. Hidden deep within the alien fleet was a device unlike anything humans had ever seen. Its energy signature was immense, pulsing in waves that could be felt across the entire fleet. From her readings, it was a weapon, ancient, powerful, and capable of annihilating everything in its path. Captain Marcus Lee gathered the council. "This changes everything," he said. "We thought we were here to save lives. Now we may be standing on the edge of destruction." The aliens were divided. Some wanted to use the weapon to protect themselves from potential enemies. Others feared it, warning that activating it could destroy not just their fleet but entire sectors of the galaxy. Confusion and panic spread among the survivors. Humans had once again stepped into a situation they barely understood. Dr. Harris suggested a solution. "We cannot let this weapon fall into the wrong hands," she said. "We must neutralize it. We must work together, humans and aliens, because if we fail, no one survives." Captain Lee nodded. "We'll need a plan that combines courage, intelligence, and teamwork. This is the moment where we prove humanity's strength, the same strength that led us to help them in the first place." Teams were organized immediately. Humans worked with the aliens who had already shown trust, using their knowledge of the ships to approach the weapon safely. Soldiers formed protective units, engineers prepared stabilizers, and scientists studied the energy flows to understand how to deactivate it. Every step was precise, every decision life or death. But danger lurked at every corner. The hostile alien faction had not vanished. They watched, hidden, waiting for a chance to claim the weapon for themselves. Energy pulses flared sporadically, and one wrong move could trigger a chain reaction that would destroy the entire fleet. Tension was high, and fear was a constant companion. As teams approached the device, its full scale became visible. Towering, complex, and alien in every detail, it seemed alive. Strange symbols glowed across its surface, changing with every step humans took. Dr. Harris felt a chill. "It's not just a weapon," she whispered. "It's intelligent. It reacts. It learns." Captain Lee took a deep breath. "Then we'll need to be smarter, faster, and braver." The operation began. Engineers carefully redirected energy flows, stabilizing the weapon systems. Soldiers protected the teams, fending off attacks from the hostile faction. Dr. Harris and her alien counterparts worked on decoding the symbols, discovering sequences that could neutralize the device. Every second mattered. Suddenly, the weapon pulsed violently. A shockwave rippled across the fleet. Ships trembled, lights flickered, and alarms screamed. Some teams were thrown back, systems overloaded. It was a test, an attempt to repel intruders. Humans refused to give up. They adapted, recalibrated, and pressed on. In a critical moment, an alien guide revealed a hidden access point. It was risky, deep inside the heart of the device, but it offered a chance to shut it down. Captain Lee led the team through twisting corridors of alien machinery. Each step was careful, deliberate. The weapons sensed them, and pulses of energy tried to push them back, but the humans pressed on, united in purpose. Dr. Harris entered the final sequence, her hands trembling. Alien symbols floated across the interface. Using logic, intuition, and cooperation with the alien allies, she decoded the pattern and initiated the shutdown. The weapon's energy pulses slowed, weakened, and finally ceased. Silence filled the fleet. For a moment, no one moved. Then cheers erupted from humans and friendly aliens alike. They had survived the impossible. They had neutralized a weapon capable of destroying everything. Humanity had combined intelligence, courage, and empathy to turn the tide. Captain Lee looked at the survivors. "This is what we can do when we act with honor, when we choose to help instead of destroy. Today, we proved that even in the darkest moments, humanity's path is the right one." But the victory was cautious. The hostile faction had not been fully defeated. They retreated, disappearing into the shadows, still a threat for the future. The fleet was battered but stronger, wiser, and more united than before. As the humans repaired the final damages and treated the wounded, a new energy pulse spread through the galaxy. This one was different. It was not a warning, not an attack. It was a signal, ancient, powerful, and aware. Something older and greater than the fleet had noticed humanity's actions. Humanity had chosen courage and compassion, and now the universe was watching. The turning point was clear. Humanity had survived betrayal, navigated unknown technology, and saved a dying civilization from disaster. They had proven that intelligence, bravery, and moral choice were more powerful than fear and hatred. Yet the greatest test was still ahead. The next challenges would be harder, and the stakes even higher. Captain Lee stood on the bridge, gazing into the stars. "We have made our mark," he said. "But this is only the beginning. The universe is bigger than we imagined, and we are ready to face it." Dr. Harris nodded beside him. "We've saved lives today. Tomorrow, we may face even greater dangers. But we will face them together." And far beyond the fleet, in the deep shadows of space, something ancient stirred. The universe had taken notice of humanity's choices, and the next chapter would test every ounce of courage, wisdom, and humanity they had left. The fleet was quiet but alert. The weapon had been neutralized, and the hostile alien faction had retreated, but the sense of danger remained. Something ancient and powerful had taken notice of humanity's actions. The stars themselves seemed alive with tension, and every ship in the fleet was prepared for the unknown. Captain Marcus Lee stood on the bridge of the Aegis, watching the distant shadows of space. "This is it," he said. "Whatever comes next, we face it together. Humanity's choice has brought us here. Now we must prove that our courage is real." Dr. Elena Harris studied the alien sensors. The readings were unlike anything humans had seen. A massive energy pulse approached, centered on the fleet. It was intelligent, deliberate, and overwhelming. The humans had faced betrayal, deadly weapons, and impossible odds, but this was on another level. The alien allies gathered with the humans, nervous but determined. They too understood that their survival depended on cooperation. The hostile faction, still hidden, watched silently, perhaps hoping to see humanity fail. But failure was not in the human plan. The source of the pulse revealed itself, a colossal alien intelligence, ancient and powerful, moving through the void like a storm of energy. Its presence was terrifying, almost godlike. Every ship trembled under its influence. The energy it radiated could destroy entire fleets, but it did not attack immediately. It was observing, testing, judging. Captain Lee took a deep breath. "We've survived betrayal. We've faced impossible technology. We've saved a civilization. Now it's time to show that humanity can rise above fear and hate." Dr. Harris nodded. "We need to act carefully. But we also need to act boldly. If we show courage, intelligence, and unity, we might earn its respect." The humans devised a plan. They formed a protective formation, positioning ships between the ancient intelligence and the alien survivors. Soldiers prepared shields, engineers set up energy dampeners, and scientists worked on a communication pulse, hoping to reach the being without provoking it. As the pulse reached the fleet, the energy washed over the ships. Sensors overloaded, alarms screamed, but the humans held steady. Captain Lee gave the order, "Steady. We are not here to fight blindly. We are here to show who we are." Dr. Harris activated the communication pulse. Waves of energy spread outward, mimicking patterns of logic and emotion. The ancient being paused, seeming to analyze. For a tense moment, nothing happened. The fleet held its breath. Then, a ripple of energy swept through the fleet, not destructive, but acknowledging. The being had seen humanity's actions, their courage, their compassion, and their intelligence. It tested them, judged them, and accepted their presence. The hostile faction, observing this, faltered, unsure how to proceed. Captain Lee ordered the fleet to advance cautiously. They moved together, humans and allied aliens side by side. Every step was a display of unity, strategy, and moral strength. Humanity had reached a pinnacle, not by force alone, but by choice, courage, and intelligence. The ancient intelligence withdrew slightly, no longer threatening. It left behind a trace of energy, a gift or recognition, that enhanced the fleet's systems. Human engineers discovered new ways to repair ships, improve shields, and strengthen life support. It was a reward for humanity's bravery, and proof that the universe had taken notice. The alien survivors, once divided and suspicious, now moved freely among the humans. Bonds had formed through shared danger and cooperation. Some of the once hostile aliens approached cautiously, now offering aid. Humanity had proven that trust could be earned, even in the most desperate situations. Captain Lee looked across the bridge at his crew. "We have faced the impossible. We have faced betrayal, powerful weapons, and forces beyond our understanding. Yet here we stand. Humanity has triumphed because we acted with courage, intelligence, and heart." Dr. Harris smiled, exhausted but proud. "We saved lives today. We proved that our choices matter. Other civilizations may judge us, but we have shown what humanity can do." The fleet moved forward, stronger and wiser. The hostile aliens had retreated, the ancient intelligence had acknowledged humanity, and the surviving aliens were beginning to rebuild. The universe was vast and dangerous, but humanity had carved a place for itself not through domination, but through compassion, strategy, and bravery. As the stars stretched infinitely ahead, Captain Lee reflected on their journey. They had chosen a difficult path, risking lives to save strangers, facing betrayal, and confronting unimaginable forces. Yet humanity had prevailed. The lesson was clear: courage and intelligence, paired with empathy, were more powerful than fear or hate. Far beyond the fleet, the galaxy continued its silent dance. But humanity's story had been written among the stars. They had chosen to help, to act with honor, and to rise above the instinct for survival alone. They had triumphed not just as warriors, but as a species worthy of the galaxy's attention. And so, humanity moved forward, stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The universe had tested them, and they had passed. Their legacy, their HFY story, was just beginning.